this is an unprecedented situation. And of course, judging from George Charamba's words, that we can expect police and military on the streets of the two main cities, Harare and Bulawayo. Zimbabweans are anticipating violence and are being advised by human rights groups to stay home. So schools remain closed and many businesses will temporarily be shut down. There's also, of course, the internet shutdown that we've been talking about. That's also been addressed by the president's spokesperson, who said that this was done as, of course, social media was being used to coordinate violence. So as long as there is unrest, we can, of course, expect that the shutdown will continue, we hope, and expect to receive some form of address from the president on a somewhat national platform upon his return from Davos.
What prompted these protests in the first place?
Well, the country has been on a tailspin since the fall of the economy in 2008 when we abandoned the Zimbabwe dollar. So since then, the government has been trying to address the currency crisis, meaning the government has to effectively provide massive subsidies for fuel, running up an unsustainable deficit, which led to further borrowing and, of course, the use of electronic money, and that creation of further devalued the parallel currencies. All this leading to the proximal cause for the unrest, which was the announcement by President Emerson Mnangagwa of massive fuel price hikes, making Zimbabwe the most expensive country in the world, to fill a car. And the president's announcement was the spur for the Zimbabwe Congress of Trade Unions, ZCTU, to launch a 3-day stay away that effectively paralyzed many of the country's public services.
And Yasha, what about the opposition in all of this? What have they been saying?
Well, we've been hearing the MDC say that they had nothing to do with last week's massive protests, which brought the country to a standstill. We heard MDC Vice President Morgan Komichi in an interview a few days ago, that last week's violence and looting, which resulted in the government unleashing the military crackdown, manifesting in the deaths of many, that it was due to the ZANU-PF party. So there definitely are fears of authoritarian rule, considering the president's spokesperson's speech, saying that the crackdown is a foretaste, as you said, of things to come. And the only way Zimbabweans may be at ease is if or when we hear the president address the nation with valuable or viable solutions.